Welcome back to Big Mouth. Remember, you can follow me and tag me and add me over on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. Well, surprisingly tonight, as soon as I came off my live stream, which was great, and thank you very much everyone who took part in that, there was an interview with Tanashi Coates. Tanashi Coates is penning the script for the brand new Superman movie produced by J.J. Abrams. This will be our first live action Superman of colour. So I found it very interesting what he had to say. So I'm going to read the entire article, including his quotes, and we're going to have a bit of fun talking about this because I'm excited, and I was actually taken a step back by what he had to say. I actually liked what he had to say. Superman reboot movie writer addresses fan expectations for Black Hero. By Russ Milheim of DC Direct. It was a fairly surprising move when it was reported that Warner Brothers was looking for a black Superman. Maybe it was the shock of the Henry Cavill-less future, or that the DCEU isn't known for making smart, bold choices. Well, actually, I disagree. There's a lot of smart, bold choices in the DCEU. Or it could have simply been that everything about recent choices from the DCEU has been questionable at best. Nevertheless, those reports became all but facts shortly afterward, with new details emerging, including the fact that while they are aiming for a bold new casting strategy, the film would still feature a Krypton origin for the character, though it may also be a period piece as well. It's not a maybe a period piece, this is a period piece, and this is actually going to be quite loyal to a graphic novel. I'm not sure which one. The rather sudden DCEU breakaway tactic with the upcoming The Batman film seems to be working out for Warner Brothers, as did the Joker film in 2019. So who is to say that this brand new tale of the Man of Steel won't work out as well? With drastic changes to the source material come even larger fan expectations. So how does something like that weigh on those involved with bringing a project to life? Expectations for a black Superman. First of all, this isn't straying from the source material. The Hollywood Reporter were basically, they've been told by Warner Brothers what to say when they announced all of this. It's a period piece. It's going to be based off a graphic novel. So he's getting his facts a bit mixed up here. In an interview with Polygram regarding the ending of his award-winning Black Panther comic run, Tanashi Coates was asked about his upcoming Superman reboot. More specifically, Coates was asked about what the journey has been for him so far in being part of the legacy of yet another huge superhero project. Nothing I can say would be helpful here. Absolutely nothing. Nothing I can say will do anything to improve how this film is ultimately received. I got a big thing. I want people to have their own experience with the art, and I don't want to step on it. Coates continued saying that he doesn't want to be part of the audience's experience, proclaiming that he really doesn't want them to see him. I don't want them to hear me. I don't want them to see me as much as possible. I really don't want them to see me. I want them to see what we ultimately produce. And so what I'm trying to do is, I'm not even being coy here. In an era with social media, there are many things that weigh on the creative process, even something like letting fans in on the process. We live in an era where people, because you have social media and can share so much, the instinct when you're creating is to let fans in on the process, to let them see where you're going. And I could do that after. That might be an aftermath thing I would do. But I do worry about doing injustice to the art. As Coates says, he tries his best not to let anything in the way of doing true justice to the art that he is crafting. In fact, if it were up to him, he wouldn't say anything ever until it'd been out and seen. I just worry that you are, however, unintentionally seeding ideas in people's heads. Now look, there's a point where you have trailers and things where I'm going to have to talk about it. But if it were up to me, I wouldn't say anything ever until it had been out and seen and consumed. All of that. I don't want to get in the way. I want Superman to have his chance. In the end, all Coates wants is for his adaptation of Superman to live and be greeted. I really want him to live. I want him to be greeted. I don't want me and whatever baggage the narrative of me has to overshadow that. I've said things in the past when I was working on things, and I guess this is still true. Coates went on to conclude by comparing his time working on Superman to that of his experience with Captain America, noting that it was an opportunity for me to speak and also one for Cap to speak. When I got on Captain America, I wrote about taking on Captain America. And the thing I wrote was, it's an opportunity for me to speak, it's an opportunity for Cap to speak, and it's an opportunity for me to figure out what this experience is like. And it's the same thing here. As such as possible, I really would like to recede and hopefully make something that folks feel is worthy. When it comes to things like comic book movies, it's going to be nearly impossible not to have to contend with high fan expectations. Even if there aren't any drastic changes to the source material, it's simply the nature of the game. With how the DCEU is now, if this upcoming reboot of Superman and the Batman films is the start of a brand new connected world, maybe it's just what fans want, a do-over. Even if one loves everything about the current state of the DCEU, it's impossible to deny that it isn't messy as I'll say that again. Current state of the DCEU, it's impossible to deny that it isn't messy as all get out. Thankfully for them, though, there's the big film called The Flash coming out in the near future, a film that quite literally has a reset button as a key plot point. Seems like the perfect opportunity to start fresh and bring a black Superman to the forefront of their universe. So very, very interesting from Tanashi Coates, very interesting indeed. I liked what he had to say. I think he knows this is a touchy subject, doing a black Superman movie. Now, I'm excited. I was excited when this was announced. I don't give a shit if Superman's black or white. Obviously, people will take issue if they make Clark Kent black rather than there's 2 or 3 versions of a black Superman in the comic book, so he can work off one of them. What I would love him to do is do the President Superman and have him the head of the multiverse Justice League, and I've spoken about this multiple times on my live streams as well. I think that will be ambitious, it will be fun. What we do know is this is going to be a Superman from another Earth, not the DCEU Earth 1 where Ezra Miller's The Flash is and where that film's going to exist. This is going to be from the multiverse. So it's very interesting because apparently they're already auditioning actors for this role, even though Tanashi has only started plotting the movie and writing it, and apparently he won't be finished till October. So I think they may need the actor for the Flash movie. That's what I suspect. But what he said about not putting ideas in people's heads, not, creating a situation where people kind of have an opinion about a film before they've seen it, I like it. In an ideal world, we would just get one trailer and that would be it and nobody talks about it. But that's not the world we live in. As he said, we are in the world of social media. People want information. People want to be hyped up. It's part of the excitement of a build-up of a film. And there's nothing more exciting to a Superman fan like me, the build-up of a film. I remember even the build-up of Superman 4 and Superman Returns was really exciting for me. So look, nobody knows what he's doing here. He's clearly not willing to say what he's doing. He wants to work on it. He wants you and me to see it, then make our minds up. He wants Superman to do the talking, and I think that's brilliant. So this interview has excited me for the movie. As I say, it could be anything. It's clear one thing we know. It's set in a different Earth. We don't know if it's Reeves' Earth or another Earth. It would have to be, I would suppose, an Earth 3 or maybe an Elseworld story or something like that. But it is exciting. And the more he doesn't say anything about what he's doing, the more intrigued I become. I found another article. It's about Zack Snyder saying "suck it" on this Late Show thing, right? And basically, Game Volution is saying he's ruined his chances of restoring the Snyderverse. Now, I'll give my take on this after I read this. So, DC Snyderverse not likely following Zack Snyder's "suck it" Late Show comment. So, any fans hoping for the return to the DC Snyderverse were just dealt a major blow, as director Zack Snyder made an appearance on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert and told Warner Brothers to suck it. While done in jest, it seemingly puts the final nail in the coffin of Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and the popular Restore the Snyderverse movement, as Snyder may have burned his final bridge with DC Comics owners Warner Brothers. Why is the DC Snyderverse unlikely now? Director Zack Snyder made an appearance in a sketch for The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, where they imagine a version of the show directed by Snyder. While it's entirely humorous and pokes fun at both Colbert and Snyder's directing style, at one point Snyder says, "Suck it, Warner Brothers." This was done to echo Colbert, and Snyder starts by claiming it was his words, not mine, but then he looks right at the camera and insults his former bosses, putting the future of the DC Snyderverse in doubt. Following the release of Zack Snyder's Justice League, Snyder had previously shown dissatisfaction with Warner Brothers, who supposedly lost confidence in Snyder following the mixed reactions to Batman v Superman, and eventually brought in Joss Whedon to replace him and redo Justice League. This turned out to be a disastrous decision for the studio in multiple ways. Nevertheless, even if done in jest, this is the first time Zack Snyder has directly told off Warner Brothers, which surely is the final burning of the bridge between him and the studio. This makes his return to do a DC movie like Justice League 2 highly unlikely. Zack Snyder's Justice League came out in March to high acclaim, although even then Warner Brothers tinkered with the movie and removed Green Lantern epilogue, which Snyder shared a picture recently. Fans still looking for a Snyderverse-style DC film may get their wish with the upcoming Injustice movie, which recently got announced for later this year. As for Zack Snyder's latest movie, Army of the Dead, it's currently beating the Snyder Cut as the director's highest-rated movie on Rotten Tomatoes. Right, this is an interesting article, and as usual, these journalists go at an angle. So, the suck it thing didn't ruin anything for the Restore the Snyderverse movement, because the reason he's doing this, the reason he keeps on exposing private information between him and Warner Brothers, the reason he keeps on talking about it, and he's been more blatant and more negative and more bitter about them as time goes on, because Warner Brothers have told him there will be no restoration of the Snyderverse. The Ann Sarnoff variety hit piece or interview, or whatever you want to call it, basically was blatant. It's not happening, she said. We're creating a universe for everyone, an interconnected universe. She made it clear what they're doing. I've just read to you about the Black Superman. That's part of their initiative. So I think their future initiative is planned, and they do have a plan and an idea, and I'm excited about what they are doing. Now, personally, I would have loved for more Snyder Justice League movies and more Snyderverse. It would be exciting, and if it did happen, there'd be no one more happy than me, I assure you of that. But he burnt his bridges a long time ago. The studio and the director are both in the wrong here. They couldn't work together from the beginning. Snyder is a hard person to grapple down because it's your IP, right? You're putting the money in, but he wants to do whatever he wants. He wants creative freedom. Now, creative freedom in an indie movie is easy. It's your vision, it's your characters, but this is an IP, the biggest IP in the business that potentially can make you over $1 billion a movie. Now, under Snyder, this was not happening. He didn't make a $1 billion movie. Man of Steel made just under 700 million, which is a kind of a solid result, that they wanted more. Batman vs Superman, they wanted about 2 billion. They wanted Force Awakens money. It didn't make the money. It created chaos in terms of opinion and reaction, and they wanted to move away from him because he wouldn't settle down. He wouldn't sit down with them and compromise, at least. So they can't work with him, and clearly he can't work with them. It's done. So this is why he's speaking out, because he knows there's no consequences. He's angry. He's heartbroken, understandably so. You know, he loves DC. He's desperate to be making these movies, and he knows he can't, and he's upset. So he wants a bit of payback. And I know a lot of the fans have been, hashtagging this, suck it WB, and it's a bit of fun and it's cool, but it doesn't change anything. You haven't won up WB. They're smoking a cigar. They don't care. Everything's been exposed about what happened between them. There's nothing that can be done to them now, and they're moving forward with the new multiverse strategy. So that's where it is. So this is why this happened, because Snyder knows he can't mess up or destabilize anything, because it's not happening anyway. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll be back tomorrow morning with the Big Mouth Daily Live, and I'm back every evening, 6 p.m. UK time for Big Mouth Live as well. So comment down below. Are you excited for Tanashi Coates' Superman movie? Because I really, really am, and I'm happy he's saying he doesn't want to kind of jar people's opinions of the film before they see it. So comment about that. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel as well, and this video, and I'll see you again soon. See you later.